Hello, my name is Mike. Hey, welcome to my channel, and today we're talking about Seeking to Subscribe Season 4, Episode 9. And before the video starts, let me just say, I'll try my absolute hardest to get this video out earlier than Friday or Saturday, because my life is a bit back in order, and I'm not sad anymore, and now I have the motivation to make content. I know y'all don't care about my personal life, so let's just get into the video. Start off with the Jones family, and Cindy and Ariel go out by the beach to sit by a fire, and they're really happy with how their relationship is going so far. Cindy is hoping their relationship goes far enough to where Ariel actually becomes a sister wife. I honestly hope it does too, just because Sadie and Tasha seem the less creepier ones on the show, the less manipulated ones, and I feel like maybe they're wholesome and little normal. I don't watch the show for wholesomeness or anything like that. I watch it for drama entertainment, but it is always nice to see a little balance within these shows. Anyways, back to the video. Tasha calls while they're sitting by the fire, just to check up, see how they're doing, and just talk. And Tasha's feeling a little selfish just because she really misses Sidian, but this is the first time that Ariel has ever got to see him, and he deserves that quality time with him. I mean, I don't think it's selfish to miss your husband who you're used to seeing every day. I don't think that's selfish at all. I just think that's a natural feeling that I would hope anyone would have if they love and care about their husband in the slightest bit. Anyways, they both do equally miss each other. In the in-person confession with Ariel talks about how it makes her sad to see Tasha sad because Sidian's in a whole different country. Ariel says that she loves Tasha and really cares about her. I don't think I've ever heard another sister wife say that about their other sister wife, which this may be a bit of a reach, but are they polygamous or polyamorous? Because there's usually like some type of bitterness I feel between the other women, even if they don't talk about it and they act like they care about each other. I always pick up on that, but I feel like I'm not picking up on it, or maybe it's just not there, or I don't know. I'm not gonna think too much into it because I think that's a bit of a reach, so I'm just gonna let that be. Anyways, going back to the scene, we finally get to see Tasha ask the question we have been seeing in the previews for the next episode for the past 3 weeks. She asks, have they had sex yet? And they tell her the truth, say yes. It's a little awkward, but they just want to make sure Tasha is okay with everything that's going on, and she is. She was comfortable with Sidian and Ariel having sex. They had talked about that a couple episodes ago, so it wasn't an issue at all. They all just want to make each other happy and make sure everyone has an understanding of boundaries and other people's boundaries. Everyone feels comfortable. So it looks like their relationship is going on the right path and it's not too much tension at the moment, but maybe we'll see it later on in the season, in the next season. I don't know how long they plan on making this season, but hopefully not too much longer because it's kind of getting a little boring. Next, we move on to Danielle and Garrett, and Danielle is going out for coffee with her brother just to talk and spend time together since they don't get to do it a lot. When they sit down and talk, they talk about how her and Garrett are going to Brazil to see Roberta. And in the in-person confessional, Danielle talks about how she's a little nervous about it just because they need to have a lot of tough conversations. Danielle says in best case scenario, Roberta will come home with them or at least book a ticket to get over to the US. She says worst case scenario is that Roberta decides that she doesn't want to go to the US with them. I feel like that's what's gonna happen just because of the whole process. Roberta has been severely stalling and just acting like she doesn't care. I don't know whether they realize it or not and just keeping hope that maybe she'll come over to the US and like get over whatever fear she has. And I'm not mad at them for having hope in a situation just because you can if you want to, but then also Roberta is showing clear signs that she doesn't want to do this. So hopefully when they go to Brazil and have the tough conversation, they bring that up. Then also, I don't even really know how far the conversation will really go because Roberta can't speak English and they cannot speak Portuguese. So the language barrier, I feel like the conversation may be cut short or may be avoided even because of the language barrier. Going back to the coffee shop, Danielle's brother talks about how that he's worried that Roberta may be second guessing coming to America, which of course that's understandable because she's going to be leaving her whole family in a completely different country. Danielle is worried that Roberta is stalling because if she were to put herself in Roberta's shoes, Ben got the paperwork done and Ben decided to come to America and, start her life with her family. But Roberta is stalling because she really doesn't want to do this. Then on top of that, Garrett has been bringing up them trying for a baby with Roberta and the importance of it. And Danielle's brother is worried that too many things may get involved in the situation because Danielle and Garrett's feelings are involved, their son's feelings are involved, their life is involved in general. It really worries him. Going back to the coffee shop scene, her brother's trying to wrap his head around the whole baby situation because he doesn't get why they be trying to have a baby when Roberta's in a completely different country and she's not really sure if she wants to come to the US or not. It'll be too difficult to raise a baby in a completely different country, and how Garrett probably wants to move to Brazil. Then it would be selfish of him to do that because of course he'll be living behind Danielle and his 2 sons that they have together, and it's just not like the right decision. And I think it scares Danielle a lot because if Garrett gets Roberta pregnant while she's still in Brazil and no real plans on coming to America, he's gonna keep going back and forth to Brazil, and if he's happier in Brazil, he's probably gonna stay there longer. I think she's afraid that she's gonna fall completely in love with Roberta and completely forget about her. He will no longer want to be with her, which that's kinda sucky for her because Danielle is not entitled to anything. Because I don't know if y'all remember, but they've already been divorced, so Garrett can marry Roberta so she can come over to the US. It's really just a crappy situation, and I can really see it ending terribly, but hopefully it ends up in the best situation possible for them. Meaning that Danielle gets her brain on and starts to realize that she's not supposed to be with Garrett, actually find peace and be happy and not be stuck with him. That's a good ending in my opinion. But next we move on to Taryn, India, and Marcus. It's the next morning after that terrible date he had with Janae, and he's sleeping in bed with Taryn, and India ends up coming to the room so they can have a conversation and talk about how the day went. They're talking, India brings up how she'll probably be upset if she was Janae too if she just got ambushed with new potential boyfriend having other wives and them all being okay with it. Like, that's a lot to take in at once. So they're talking. Marcus talks about how she was just shutting everything down just because she's not open to the idea of having sister wives or sharing a man, which any reasonable person should, especially in this situation, because he basically manipulated her into the whole situation and felt like maybe if I butter her up, be okay with it. But that's not something you can be slick with. Like, that's a real conversation and something that you need to be upfront with someone about. I told Janae, in a couple of weeks I'm gonna fly you out again and I'm gonna book the flight, and if you choose not to get on it, that's fine, but if you choose to get on it, that's even better. He's gonna book the flight regardless, and they're just waiting to see what she's gonna do. And Taryn and India are encouraging him to keep trying and hoping their relationship will work out, which I'm not sure why India's pushing it for, because at the end of the day she really doesn't even want to do it like that. We're just gonna play along with it, and I hope Janae doesn't go through with it just because I don't think this is the right situation for her. I don't really know her that well, but it doesn't make any sense for her to stop what she has going on in Atlanta and being a good life to go be sharing a man with 2 other women. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, it's her life to live, so she can make the best decision that she feels is for her. Next, move back around to Danielle and Garrett, and Danielle's coming home after having that conversation with her brother at the coffee shop. She's had time to really rethink everything she's been going through and think about what she feels is best. She sits down on the couch with Garrett, talking about how they're excited to go to Brazil and just talking about how they're still gonna have to have a lot of difficult conversations, like I said earlier. Then as the conversation gets deeper, Danielle brings up the whole baby situation. Now she thinks they should put a hold on trying for a baby since Roberta's not in the States yet and it'd be too difficult to raise a child in a completely different country. This is a little off topic, but why does Gary look like he's wearing one of Danielle's shirts? Like, either the shirt is too tight, or I don't know whether like the design of the shirt is throwing me off. I don't know. People can wear whatever they want. I don't want to be that person, but this shirt is really just throwing me off because like it's so weird and it doesn't look like it fits Garrett. But anyways, back to the point. I was saying, Danielle just feels like it's not the best timing to have a baby, especially since Roberta is seeming like she doesn't know if she wants to come live with them or not. It would overall just be too risky of a situation to make. Danielle basically asked Garrett would he be okay with Roberta having kids in Brazil. Basically says he'll be okay with Roberta having children in Brazil just because he doesn't want to wait 5 years and then Roberta not be fertile or him not be able to do his thing anymore. Danielle isn't okay with that because that basically means that her and Garrett will be apart for half of the year and Garrett will be away from his 2 boys that he already has. I feel like it kind of takes away the whole point from living a polygamous lifestyle, because isn't the point of living a polygamous lifestyle is for the family to be together, for this to be one big unit, and basically like all that stuff. And if you're in a different country while your other wife is in another country, that's not promoting polygamy in my opinion. Like, Garrett is not in it for polygamy, he's in it just so he can cheat on Danielle but also not get reprimanded for it. Going to an in-person confession with Danielle, Danielle starts to get emotional because she's like realizing that Garrett's gonna be away for part of the year. He's supposed to be a lover, a nurturer, and all these things, but he can't be that if he's all the way in a different country doing it to his other wife and kids. And going to Garrett, Garrett says something like Danielle's just being emotional right now and stuff like that. I don't know what he really even said, just because sometimes I can't hear what Garrett says because I'm so tuned out by something else. Because he kind of talks like a counselor, if that makes sense. I don't know if this is relatable to anybody else, but if it is, I'm sorry that it is. But have you ever been like in the counselor room or whatever you call it, and you've like told them you've been having suicidal thoughts, and they're explaining to you in that soft tone voice, we're gonna have to contact your parents and tell them about this because this is for your safety, I guess kind of like preparing you for what's about to happen. That's how Garrett talks in my opinion, and not that it's a bad thing, that's just how he talks. Anyways, back to the boy. He's basically just invalidating how she feels, and Danielle has every right to feel how she's feeling right now because her husband being gone for part of the year so he can go raise his other children, that's a big deal, and that's something that anyone should be upset about, or at least have some type of feelings toward. And I really think it shows Garrett's selfish side by wanting to spend half of the year across the world, because that's selfish to your kids, to your wife. Danielle's going to be a single parent for half of the year. Your children aren't going to have a father for half of the year, and it's all because of your need to have sex with multiple people. I'm pretty sure he'll call them, FaceTiming and all of that, but that's not being a parent. That's just you kind of being a friend checking in on somebody. I really hope Garrett does not go and make that dumb decision, because then I'll have a real reason to really hate. I don't hate anybody. Hate is a very strong word, but I'm gonna say dislike. I don't know these people enough to hate them. Let's move on to David's family. This is very short scene, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet as well. They'll go on a hike and talk about if Danielle's ready or not to join the little circle, and they feel she's ready because they've had enough scenarios to see how she would react. And they feel that if she wants to move in, she can, and they're all ready for it, and they all agree that they like Danielle, and it feels really natural, and they're really excited to make it work. Not really much there, and also just Nick being creepy as usual. So we want to Sadie and Tasha. Tasha's going out with lunch with her mom because they don't get to see each other a lot because they live in 2 different states now, and they do get to spend time with each other. They really do enjoy it. They sit down and start getting ready to eat lunch. Tasha's mom asks where Sidian, and Tasha had not yet told her mom that Sidian went to go see Ariel over the Philippines. Her mom is not even aware of Ariel. The reason why she hasn't told her mom is because her mom is not open to the idea of polygamy. Her mom just thinks it's a cult, just like everyone else does. I mean, it kinda is at this point. They have yet to prove why it's not a cult, so it will continue to be a cult in my mind. But anyways, her mom is worried that Tasha's gonna put on the back burner and will no longer be a priority for Sidian. And that one day Tasha's gonna wake up and realize that she really didn't want to do this, and she only did this to make her husband happy. So I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of women go through, and I think Danielle is going through that at the moment, because I do truly believe Danielle is one of those people who wakes up and realizes that she really didn't want to do it. She's gonna regret it, and she won't actually start living her life how she wants to till like she hits that 50-60 point in life. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all, but you should always be living your life for you no matter what, at least in my opinion. Let's move back around to Marcus, India, and Taryn. It's a couple of weeks later, and Janae has decided to come back to Florida and meet up with Marcus for a second time. They're going out for lunch, and Marcus still knows there's a flame between them, so he's hoping to be able to utilize that to his advantage and at least get her open to the idea of meeting his other wives and stuff like that. So once they sit down and get to talking, Marcus is like explaining what the whole sister wife situation is, and explaining is like having a sister, having a friend, basically like all those normal things in life, just in a relationship, I guess. Janae seems very confused, but not 100% against the idea though. So Marcus starts using like his selling points, explaining how good it is, how it's good to raise a family, and he's really not getting much love. But then while I say that, Janae has become eye-open to the idea of meeting his other wives. Marcus is hoping they can sell the situation a whole lot better than he can. And Janae is doing this more out of curiosity than actually having a true love interest in Marcus, but I would do it too, just because I feel like there's a lot of polygamous families and you can meet them anywhere, but for you just to randomly meet one, I think that's a pretty rare situation. And if I was just a person unaware of what polygamy is, I would be interested in getting to know what it was too. I mean, here I am reviewing Seeking Sister Wives, so I'll obviously have some form of an interest in it. I really hope they don't convince Janae to be in this relationship, just because I don't think it's necessarily the right situation for anybody, and especially for someone like Janae. I don't really know her like that, to be honest, but she seems very smart and educated and knows what she's getting herself into and tries to avoid issues and problems in life. I hope she would avoid this, because Marcus is manipulative and just, I wouldn't say he's the worst, but he's also not the best either. Sorry about that rant. Last, we move on to the Merrifield family. They FaceTime Roberta to talk about the trip and just make sure they're all on the same page. And Danielle was going to this conversation a little hesitant, just because after that talk with Garrett and that talk with her brother, it really has her rethinking some things, which I'm glad it does, because you really need to rethink your whole life when your husband's okay with going away for half of the year to go play dad to his other kids across the world. I think that's a time to reflect on your life. Going back to the scene, while they're on FaceTime, they start talking about Roberta's mom, how she's very sick and they've only met her once in Mexico. She can't meet them in the States because something went wrong with her visa. It was the only time they met her, but they're hoping to see her in Brazil and to get to talk and know each other a little better. Basically don't talk about a whole lot in this conversation. All they talk about is how they're excited for the trip and how they're going to have difficult conversations with Roberta. I've already gone over that. Sorry if I was very repetitive in this video. I'm pretty sure I was, but I tend to do it without really knowing I'm doing it, so sorry about that. Yeah, that was the end of the episode. I give it a 7 out of 10. It was interesting and it gave me something to talk about, so that's good. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments about the episode or about anything you want to talk about. And I will be reviewing Love After Lockup. I know I missed the first episode just because I couldn't figure out how to get good images and stuff like that. I figured it out. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want, and bye.